When you look through a style guide, you'll find very detailed instructions on how to give credit when you summarize, or paraphrase, or quote. You give credit by adding a citation of some kind to supplement your own written sentences. There's three major types of citations: footnotes, endnotes, and parenthetical citations. Footnotes are citations that include author information and source information that are added in a special section at the bottom of the page. In order to show which point or quotation is linked to which footnote, a small number is added to the end of the phrase or sentence. We call this number superscript style because it's smaller than the normal script and raised up a little bit, like the 2 in E=mc². A major word processing program like Word or Pages will typically have shortcuts that help you to insert superscript numbers and even to manage both endnotes and footnotes. It's worth checking the help page of your chosen word processor to learn how. Note that you can cite multiple sources within a single footnote or endnote or parenthetical citation as long as they all correspond back to the same sentence in your writing. When you add further notes, they're typically numbered in sequential order, with each subsequent note taking on a higher number. In most common footnote styles, if you cite a source a second or third time or more, you don't go back and repeat the number of a previous note. You typically create a whole new note with a higher number. So many different notes will cite the same source, and that's okay. Luckily, your particular style guide will teach you some ways to shorten subsequent notes about the same source. Endnotes are almost exactly like footnotes, except that instead of putting the notes at the bottom of each page, you collect them all at the end of the chapter or paper. They similarly involve superscript numbers and increase in number with each citation. One important thing to remember is that no matter whether you use endnotes or footnotes, you will also need to add a list of works cited at the end of your paper. That's because all of your notes will be in the order in which you cited them with lots of repetition. For the sake of your reader or marker, though, it's important to have a master list at the end of your work that's organized in alphabetical order. This can be a lot of work, but it's worth it to make sure that your use of sources is clear to your reader. The third type of citations are parenthetical citations. Parenthetical citations involve adding information about the author and source in brackets right in the text of your writing. They're often called in-text citations. The author's last name is the most commonly required element to include in these brackets, but different citation styles such as the APA or MLA styles require different additional information in the brackets on top of the author's last name. For example, the APA style requires at least the year and also the page number when needed. The MLA style, on the other hand, usually requires just the page number. You'll want to consult a style guide to figure out the details for each style. We won't go into that much detail here. But one universal rule is that your brackets should come before your punctuation, whether that's a period, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. You don't need to double up on your punctuation marks or leave your brackets hanging over at the start of the next sentence. Another general rule is that you'll want to include a reference list at the end of your paper or project, recapping all the sources that you've cited in brackets in alphabetical order. Footnotes, endnotes, and parenthetical citations are great ways to cite individual sources. However, you can also cite multiple sources within one set of brackets, or within one footnote or endnote, as I mentioned. This is appropriate where a point or argument is made and reinforced by multiple sources, and where you phrase the point so that it represents the commonality and overlap between those sources, rather than just one particular source's perspective or quote. If you're just learning about citations, it's normal to feel overwhelmed at the various approaches to style and formatting. Yet the best approach is to simply give your best effort and seek help from the available instructors and resources, and to continue to practice as you do more and more assignments and research. Citation is one of the key academic skills you learn in higher education, and is worth spending a little bit of time on.